Welcome. Today's video is on the pros and the cons of living in Thompsons Station, Tennessee. And if you want to learn what some of the cool things are there and what some of the bad things are, well, I'm going to give you my honest opinion and I'm getting after it right now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Nashville, Tennessee channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to be here, live here, sleep here, play here, then click the little subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do a new video. I've been getting a ton of people that are reaching out to me about moving here to the Thompsons Station and Nashville area. I absolutely love it. So if that's you, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I've got your back if you're moving here. And here are the pros and the cons of living in Thompsons Station. Con number one would be that there's not really a lot of shopping and restaurants and that sort of thing in Thompsons Station. It's really a bedroom community, but they do have a Kroger that technically is in Thompsons Station. However, it's really Spring Hill because it's on the far, far south side of Thompsons Station. They were at one point going to build a Walmart in this huge center, and then they didn't actually build it. So that hasn't come. But if you are wanting to go to another grocery store, you go up to a place called Berry Farms, and there's a Publix there. So if you're a Publix fan, you go to Berry Farms. Kroger fan, you're going to go down south in Thompsons Station. They're both pretty close, and they're both good places. Food-wise, we have not many restaurants to choose from in Thompsons Station. Really, they have this neat train station place called Circa. So if you are able to get a chance to eat there, it's really, really good. And it used to be like this hidden, nobody really knew about it. But as more and more people have moved here and other people have eaten there, they've spread the word. So there can be a wait sometimes to eat there. Just know that. But it's really, really good and it's super neat. They do have a post office in Thompsons Station. It's really small. It's like a 1-room, 2-room thing with just some mailboxes and then for you to be able to do your packages. However, we go there all the time to mail stuff because it's quicker than going to the Spring Hill one where it can take you a lot longer. Usually there's maybe a person or two ahead of you, so it takes you 5 minutes or so to go through the post office typically, which is awesome. And yeah, so anyhow, so that's con number one, just the shopping and restaurants and what other stuff is in Thompsons Station. There will be more stuff being built, but just right now there just isn't anything. Pro number one is the new construction home possibility. There are a ton of subdivisions in Thompsons Station that you're going to be able to pick from, such as Littleberry, Tollgate, Whistle Stop Farms, Bridgemore Village, the Mill at Bond Springs. You got Avenue Downs, Canterbury, and all that starts anywhere in the $450-ish range and then goes all the way up to some gigantic 5-bedroom, 8-bath home with 7,322 square feet on 3 acres of land. And that one is $4.8 million. So really you can get anything in between $450 and $4.8 million. Just depends on your budget and what you're looking for. But that's one of the things that you're going to do when you reach out to me. I will be able to talk to you about the different new construction options in Thompsons Station and let you know what's possible, what isn't possible, and with your budget. So that's pro number one, is the new construction homes. Con number two is really that Thompsons Station is not as affordable for homes as what it used to be. It's definitely not as affordable as Spring Hill or Columbia or Chapel Hill. As far as that goes, it is more affordable than, say, Arrington, College Grove, Franklin, Brentwood. It's not what it used to be. It used to be you could get something in the $400,000 to $600,000 range and you get a pretty nice home in Thompsons Station, and that ship sailed with COVID. So just know that the affordability factor in Thompsons Station is not what it used to be. You're really looking at, $700,000-$800,000 home in Thompsons Station up to, like I mentioned, $4.8 million. But let me show you real quick on my website, thespackmangroup.com, what some of the home prices are going for. All right, so here we are on my website, thespackmangroup.com. You can just scroll down here to Middle Tennessee, click on Thompsons Station, and that'll show you some of the subdivisions. So if you wanted to learn, scroll through the different ones. But here are some pricing for the latest listings in Thompsons Station. So you have $1.4 million, $890,000, $775,000. Here's a $400,000 home. Then you got $490,000. $899, $949, $819, $640, $3.7 million, $1.8, $9 million just piece of property, and then $559, $600. So that kind of gives you a good idea. But go ahead and register on my website. Send me an email. Let me know that you're looking, and I'll make sure that I set up the search for the different cities that you're interested in. But that's just a good idea of what the prices are, and that may be affordable. Just really depends on where you're coming from, what state you're moving from, what area you're moving from, how much equity you're bringing with you, and how much down you have, and all of that. But that's, once again, one of the reasons we're going to talk and do a Zoom and get all into what you're looking for. Pro number 2 is the location of Thompsons Station. So let me show you on the map where we're at. As you can see, Nashville's up to the top. Thompsons Station is right here in red, down near the bottom, this highlighted area here. This is Thompsons Station. Then you have Spring Hill, and then further south you have Columbia. Out to the east, if you take 840, which you're going to be close to, you're going to get out here, and then you have Murfreesboro. So realistically, you're going to spend a lot of time in Franklin, living in Thompsons Station, for restaurants, for shopping, that sort of thing. You'll probably spend 90% of your outside time outside of the community in Franklin, and then Nashville and Murfreesboro would be your other options. Columbia has a super cool downtown square, so that's something that you should visit and look at as well. And they're, redoing that area still as that goes. But then you'll also go into Spring Hill. That's where your nearest Target is in Spring Hill, and then some other restaurants that you can eat at as well near the Target. And then there's some stuff along 31 as well. But as far as location wise, this is where Thompsons Station sits. So you're looking at, to go up to get onto 840 over here, it's about 3 minutes drive over to 65. Then you're a straight shot up to Franklin. So you can get to Franklin in about 18 minutes, depending upon where you're at in Thompsons Station and which way you go to get to the freeway. And I don't think that will change much. The local traffic in Thompsons Station will change some once they build this new on-ramp that they're building for 65. And then the Spring Hill people don't need to go through Thompsons Station to get to 840, to get to 65, to go where they're trying to go. You're 40-ish minutes to get to Murfreesboro, about 30 minutes up to Nashville. So you're close to everything. And that's one of the cool things about Thompsons Station and why everyone is moving there, is just the location of it. And since you're, 18 minutes, 20 minutes up to Franklin, you can definitely do all your shopping and everything else up there. So that's super awesome as well. Con number 3, and one of my wife's least favorite things about Thompsons Station, is just that it's losing its farmland and charm that it used to have. Used to be a lot of rolling hills and farms and just neat stuff that you would drive by, and how it looked and the feeling of it and everything else. And everything is just being converted into homes as more and more people want to move to Thompsons Station. But that's one of the things that is probably having you want to go there, is just the location and everything that's there. So that causes all the farms and everything to disappear. Plus, as the people get older, they left the farmland to their children, and the kids seem to want to live up in Nashville and the high-rise condos and that sort of thing, or move out of Nashville, and they want to sell it off. They don't have that same, I want to farm like what their parents and their grandparents and their grandparents and all of that used to do for farming way back when. That's con number 3, is just that it's losing its farmland. Pro number 3 is one of the coolest things that you're going to love about living in Tennessee, and that's the friendly people. People are super, super nice in Tennessee. We have the Southern charm. Most of the time when they say bless your heart, it's not a good thing. Just know that. But it can be a good thing. So it just depends on how they're saying it and why they're saying it to you. But you'll figure that out as you're here. You're going to have people that are super helpful, super nice. So when you move to Thompsons Station, make sure that you keep that going forward. If you're generally not a friendly person, like with your neighbors, now is the time for you to be that way, since that's part of what the charm is of Tennessee, is just how friendly and nice the people are. Con number 5 is one of my least favorite things about living in Tennessee, living in Thompsons Station, Spring Hill, everywhere in Middle Tennessee, and that's the weather. I'm not a big fan of the summer. I do not like the humidity. I would much rather it be dry than it being humid. You get something called swamp ass, and you'll figure out what that is once you're here. But it's nice a few weeks of the summer where it's not humid and it feels dry and it's super nice and it's 80s and 90s, and so you're sitting outside and you're like, why can't it be like this all the time? Well, that's why people live in California, because it's like that all the time in California. It's just not that way here in Tennessee. Wintertime, I don't really have much of an issue. It doesn't really snow very much. It does snow a little bit, but not enough where it's any sort of issue. It's definitely not what you get in, the northern states or like Idaho or wherever it snows a ton. It will snow a couple inches maybe. It does get ice sometimes as well. Other than the snow, it does get cold in the winter, so it will have chilly days. However, there weren't that many days where I couldn't wear shorts in the wintertime. It was typically warm enough where you could wear them, even though my wife would want me to wear pants all the time, but I did what I did. One other thing that I don't like about Tennessee, and you may really like that, is that it rains a lot. It rains a ton in Tennessee. The more inches of rain than Seattle. It just doesn't rain all the time like Seattle does, but it rains an awful lot, and there are weeks where it rains every single day. It doesn't rain necessarily all day long, just enough where it's a bother. We do end up with a ton of rain at some points of the year where it'll rain 6, 7, 8 inches. And when we had the great flood of 2010, it rained a ton over a couple days, and it just never stopped raining. And that caused a big issue with flooding and flood zones and everything else. So that's another good reason that you should be calling me, so that when we help you find your home, we make sure you're not in a flood zone. Because the last thing you want to do is buy a home and not have your agent look up where the flood zones were, gave you all that data so that you didn't end up being in a flood zone and also having to pay flood insurance, which is a waste of money. The spring and the fall are going to be two great times a year. Fall, the leaves change in Tennessee, and that is amazing. So you get to see all the fall colors and everything else. And so that is super cool to see. Then in the springtime, when everything blooms and the trees get their leaves back, because over the wintertime you had no leaves on the trees, so everything looks dead and looks gloomy, and when it's rainy, it's not super, super attractive compared to other states where everything stays green all year round. So just know that is kind of the way, but you'll appreciate spring just like I do every year when everything starts to bloom. And so that's pretty much the weather. And then the last thing that's probably the scariest thing, and that's tornadoes. And Tennessee does have tornadoes. I've had a few clients do tornado shelters a few different ways. So you can do them where they dig out in your garage and you go down underneath your garage, and they have a room down there that you go into and you're safe and secure there. I've had other people build, they have this above ground thing that you put in the garage. So it does eat into your garage space, but it's basically like a rectangle, and you go into that, shut the door, and the whole house could be blown away and that thing will still be there. So that is something as well. And then the last thing was super cool with one of our clients, where the master bedroom closet was built as a tornado room. So it had these huge pins in the door, and you could go into that closet as well. So you had some different ways to protect from it. We have never dealt really with a tornado per se, where it wiped out or did any sort of major damage, but they definitely had them where if you were in Mount Juliet and Nashville and along that path, Cookville, that path, they got destroyed a few years back. And so you can look that up yourself, but it shouldn't be something that you're super, super scared about, because everywhere seems to have some sort of natural disaster, whether that's earthquakes or flooding or tornadoes as well. Just you're going to have something that you have to deal with. And at least with tornadoes, typically you get a warning. And if you have protection, then you're solid for that goes. But so that's con number 5, the weather. Pro number 5 is the rankings. And so the rankings, I'm going to show you where they are right now, according to niche.com. And let's get rolling with that. All right. So here are the rankings According to niche.com for Thompsons Station, they give it an overall rating of an A plus for public schools, which since I can't comment on that and have to use their guidance, but great schools. And as you can see on niche.com, they give it an A plus, and schools, from everything that I've been told by clients that live there, love the schools in Thompsons Station. I can speak to the fact that my daughter graduated from Independence High School and absolutely loved it and thought it was one of the best high schools she'd been to. And she went to 2 different high schools, so the high school is really, really good as well. And in Thompsons Station, you're going to be zoned for one of 2 high schools. You're going to be zoned for either Independence or Summit High School. And I've had clients go to both schools. And like I said, our daughter went to Independence High School, so I can't speak personally about Summit. I do know that it's a really, really good school and is rated highly according to niche.com and great schools. Then we have housing B, and housing is B because of pricing. Now, it should be more like a C plus just because of the affordability of the housing, but as far as options and choices in that, it should be an A plus because there is a ton of new construction and other price points, and you can kind of get a bunch of different prices living in Thompsons Station depending upon if you want a starter home or something more luxurious you can get. It's A plus, good for families. A for jobs. C plus, cost of living. Once again, the housing is expensive in Thompsons Station. B plus for outdoor activities. They don't mention crime and safety at all. It doesn't really have any crime and safety from what I've seen online. Nightlife, a B. Nightlife really should be more like a C minus because you're going to be going to Franklin, Murfreesboro, Nashville for any sort of nightlife. A B for diversity, B minus for weather, a B plus for health and fitness, and then a C for commute. So the commute they're talking about is mainly going up 65 because that's your main freeway that you're going to be taking, and that has traffic on it. And especially coming south in the afternoon, there can be traffic, and then everybody going to Spring Hill that are cutting through Thompsons Station cause a big traffic issue. Like I mentioned, once that new on-ramp is built, I think you're going to see traffic be a lot nicer in Thompsons Station as it goes. But those are some of the rankings. And here are the other rankings. So suburb with the best public schools in Tennessee is ranked number 4 out of 103 in the state of Tennessee. It's ranked number 5 for best places with best public schools in Tennessee. And then best places to raise a family is ranked number 7. So it has really high rankings. As you can see here, they don't rank crime at all. So those are pretty much our rankings for Thompsons Station. As you can see, it's got really good rankings and everything else, and it would be a great place to call home. So if you've made it this far and you're still considering moving to Thompsons Station, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you more about making that journey here to the greater Nashville area, whether it's Thompsons Station or any other city. Please reach out. Until next time, I'm out.